It's Monday, May 26th.
Of course, there's added pressure because it's His Majesty the King.
The King's visit. King Charles and Queen Camilla are scheduled to arrive in Ottawa this afternoon, ahead of tomorrow's throne speech.
We are going to be very, very busy in the next few weeks.
The caucus today.
Right to work. Prime Minister Mark Carney telling his caucus to expect a busy few weeks and a busy few years as Parliament returns today.
This is an unimaginable situation, unfathomable. The grief.
Heartbreaking loss. Students and staff at a Walkerton high school returned to class today after losing 5 members of their school community in a tragic crash.
I've been coming since I was probably 5 years old. This has been going on for, at least 50 years.
A sea of support, 56,000 people turning out for the Walk with Israel in Toronto, a record count for the annual event. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
I'm Kelsey McEwen. Hope your Monday is off to a great start.
Let's jump right into news because Ottawa is ready to welcome King Charles and Queen Camilla for the first time since the King's coronation.
Both at a personal level and at a greater level as part of the Royal Canadian Dragoons and the Canadian Armed Forces.
The Royal Canadian Dragoons will welcome the King and the Queen when they land in Ottawa this afternoon. This is part of a 2-day visit leading up to the King delivering the throne speech tomorrow. It will be the third speech from the throne delivered by a monarch. The other 2 were read by Queen Elizabeth in 1957 and 1977. So here's the plan. After landing today, the King and the Queen will travel to Lansdowne Park to meet with members of community organizations. Then they'll be off to Rideau Hall for a ceremonial tree planting. The King and Queen will also meet privately with Prime Minister Mark Carney and Governor General Mary Simon. And of course, CTV News Channel and CTVnews.ca will have complete coverage of King Charles' visit to Canada throughout the day, including special coverage of tomorrow's speech from the throne. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mark Carney and the Liberals are looking ahead to a pretty busy session of Parliament.
This is one of the most rapid returns of Parliament in Canadian history, and it will be one, and Steve will detail, one of the most busy returns to Parliament in Canadian history.
What's your message to caucus today?
Prime Minister Carney met with his caucus yesterday to go over their long to-do list. At the top of that list, priorities like passing a promised tax cut and bringing down trade barriers between provinces. There's also a lot of work to do on a new economic and security relationship with the U.S., of course. On the issue of ending the U.S. trade war, the Liberals can expect some cooperation from the Conservatives.
We will work with the government to help make that happen. I've already told the Prime Minister that we are happy to cooperate any way we can.
As the Conservatives promise cooperation, they're also calling on the Liberals to table a spring budget. The Liberals say that is coming in the fall. The Conservatives will start the new session with Andrew Scheer as their leader in Parliament. Party leader Pierre Poilievre needs to win a seat in a by-election, and that by-election is expected to happen in a couple of months. Liberal MPs have voted against adopting a formal process to oust their leader if they felt that was necessary.
I have the privilege, I was just elected as the chair of our National Caucus. The Reform Act was voted down.
What's your message to caucus?
The Reform Act would have allowed the Liberal General Caucus to remove a party leader if that party leader was unwilling to leave. The law was originated by Conservative MP Michael Chong to embolden individual MPs to hold party leaders to account by allowing them to force leadership reviews. A vigil was held in Walkerton to remember the 5 people killed in a tragic crash. People gathered for the vigil outside of Walkerton High School. 5 people were killed in the crash Friday, a teacher and 4 students. They were driving back to Walkerton from a softball tournament when their SUV collided with a tractor trailer. The community is expecting a heartbreaking return to school today.
Solely going to be focused on people's healing journeys, and everything else will hopefully one day at a time and get better slowly.
CTV News has confirmed the names of the victims. The 4 students who died are Olivia Rourke, Rowan McLeod, Cadence Ford, and Danica Baker. Their coach has been named as Matt Eckert. Members of a mental health team will be on site today to support both staff and students. People in the community are encouraged to leave sneakers on their front steps this week in honor of the victims. In other news today, talks between Canada Post and its union are expected to resume in the next couple of days after a meeting between the two sides Sunday.
I wouldn't say optimistic, but we always have to be optimistic enough that we want a deal. We want to get this done.
The Canadian Union of Postal Workers is still reviewing Canada Post's latest offer, which was made Wednesday. The offer includes a pay increase, but also plans to roll out some part-time workers. For now, the union has told its members to refuse overtime. The union is expected to take a few days to respond to this offer. More than 50,000 people turned out for the Walk with Israel in Toronto on Sunday.
It's like a big Jewish charger. You know, it's given me a lot of power.
So Anne-Marie Kohavi was a producer of the Nova Music Festival. He was actually on stage at the festival when Hamas started attacking on October 7th, 2023. The 56th annual walk took place on Bathurst Street in North York. The event is meant to be a show of solidarity. This year served as a fundraiser for people affected by the attacks by Hamas on October 7th. A large police presence lined the route, separating the participants from the protesters.
These little children are starved to death. This is not a self-defense. This is offensive from day one.
Protesters called for an end to the violence in Gaza and for Canada to impose sanctions and an arms embargo on Israel. At least one person was arrested along the route Sunday. A 57-year-old man was allegedly yelling anti-Semitic slurs. Police say the incident is being treated as a hate-motivated offense. About 50 people had to be rescued from an amphibious tour boat that was stranded on the Ottawa River. Okay. So that was the vessel. The one that has wheels and goes in water. Those amphibious. Broke down yesterday afternoon. Gatineau Fire says it took 2 boats and 14 firefighters to get everybody off, then transport it back to the dock. The whole thing took a little less than an hour. Nobody was hurt. The Oilers put on a show for their first home game of the Western Conference Final. Take a look.
McDavid scored! They couldn't get the puck out, and number 97 made them pay.
Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman both scoring twice as the Oilers crushed the Stars 6-1. Woo! That's 2 straight wins for Edmonton after their third period collapse in Game 1. Game 4, by the way, goes tomorrow night in Edmonton.